We're back. John, Ray, and Sandra here to talk a little bit about lending. First thing I wanted to ask, and we haven't asked this question in a long time, John, is when I come to you for a lending information or lending info, what do I need to bring with me so you can help me out as a lender?
So as a buyer?
As a buyer.
It would be a photo ID, your income. Typically, I don't ask for tax returns. They're usually not necessary unless you're self-employed. Last 2 years W-2s and 2 months worth of bank statements. And that's going to be enough for us to have a really good idea what we can do for you.
And there's two things. I'm trying to get the words right. One is a pre-qual and one is a
pre-approval.
Pre-approval. Can you tell me the difference?
So a pre-qual is going to be me having a conversation with you right now, and you're like, hey, I make $10,000 a month. I have $20,000 to put down. I checked my credit report online. I have a 720 credit score, and I want to buy a $300,000 house.
Okay.
Well, Ray, the numbers look like they'll work.
Okay.
That's pretty much, it's a little bit more than that, but it's pretty much in a nutshell what a pre-qual is.
Okay.
A pre-approval is taking the full application, pulling credit, getting all the income documentation, running automated underwriting. If we don't get an automated underwriting approval, getting that loan in front of an underwriter and them clearing the income conditions and the asset conditions and the credit, so that when you go and shop, now all I need is an appraisal, a contract, and a pre-lend.
So there's you, there's the underwriter, and then there's the bank.
Yes.
Is that the process?
Yep.
Okay.
And so a pre-approval, you've seen it, we issue a pre-approval letter. It says you're pre-approved to buy this house for this amount of money at this interest rate, and we just need a contract.
Okay.
I think in the real estate world, that holds a lot more weight than just an Arizona PQF.
Sure, absolutely. We like to see those when we have listings. Well, one of the things that we kind of use as a temperature check for the market is when we hear from other people in our industry what's going on. So what is going on in the lending world?
Last week, nationally, there was a 7.4% increase in purchase applications. That's a big increase. Usually we have 1% or 2% here. This was a large increase. I believe part of that increase is nationally interest rates dipped below 6% for a few days. Again, I'm pretty much myself below 6% right now with almost any borrower. We can get there. But I think when that hit the news, it spurred a lot of interest, I guess pun intended on that one, for people to go and put in applications to buy a home. And so we've seen an increase, and we're going to start heading into the warmer months, and I think we're just going to continue to see that. I think it's still going to be a good buying season.
I agree. And we always talk about the fact that once we start hitting the holidays, we do see things slow down. And January typically is an uptick in business for us anyway. But definitely February and March are a great time of year for good inventory and to see things actually moving out there.
And I obviously I'm not a real estate agent, you guys are, but I've done this for a very long time, and I've always seen by April and May, I don't think we're going to be back into bidding wars, but you definitely have competition out there to get a home. And for me, from a lender's perspective, if you're in a position that you think you want to buy a home this year and you have your down payment and you have good credit, let's get you qualified now, because you may be able to grab a better deal in March and April than possibly May and June. I don't know what your guys' opinion is on that, but I feel like beating the summer buying season, here in March might be a great idea.
We actually have such great seasons for real estate because our weather is so fabulous. And so other than the holidays, probably the hottest part of the year is when we're going to see only serious buyers out. People aren't, if they're on the fence, they're staying indoors until it cools down a little bit, right? Yeah. So we do have a fairly good season when it comes to selling homes. This time of year, typically what we see, because we did just have the gem show, we've got rodeo coming up. We have a lot of out-of-town visitors. And a lot of times I think people come here and they start as snowbirds. They want to spend a couple months here and then live the rest of the year wherever they're from. And over the time period of a couple years, that flops to where they want to spend most of their time here and they'll leave for 2 months instead. So that's kind of a mindset change, I think, for a lot of people. So this time of year, we see people that are here, they're on vacation, they want like a short-term rental, and there's nothing available because it's a great time of year to be in Tucson. And so they'll start looking for homes and start thinking we need to do this in advance and not wait until the last minute because there just isn't that much availability.
I will tell you, over the years, the only time I've ever do financing for vacation homes is February, March, and October, November. It's rare for me to get a request for a second home or a vacation home application other than those 4 months. It's really interesting. And I don't know if I think that's kind of unique to Southern Arizona because of our climate.
I think it is a lot to do with our climate. So if someone's looking for that vacation home or second home, how's the lending side of that right now?
So the interest rates are slightly higher. The main reason is these new loan level pricing adjustments we were talking about that came out. And they're trying to keep that money for first-time home buyers available as opposed for second home. It does require a little bit more down. I would recommend 20%, but you can get into a second home with just as little as 10% down. If you do less than 20% down, mortgage insurance is higher on a second home. But the qualifying requirements are definitely, the underwriting requirements are more stringent. Somebody with a 620 credit score and credit issues is going to have a real hard time qualifying for a second home. You're going to want to be in that 720, 740 well-qualified borrower. They're going to want to see that you have ample reserves in the bank because now you got 2 mortgage payments. And if something happens, they want to know that you can make both those payments out of savings.
Got a question for you. Can a second home be on a USDA loan or a VA loan?
No. Second home is going to be a conventional product only.
That's what I need to know. Okay, that's good to know. People realize, hey, well, I got a VA, I bought that conventional, now I got a VA. I want to get a second home, maybe I can do it. So I can do it, but you just cannot.
Yeah, Raymond and I just put a listing on the market out in Academy Village, which is a 55 and older community.
Yep.
And it's a townhome. And one of the residents came by and she looked at it and said, this would be a great guest house so people aren't staying with me at my house. And I thought, that is a great idea. What a great idea. So we'll see if she comes back and puts that thought in writing. But
remind everybody how to get a hold of you, John.
They can call me on my cell phone, 520-247-3610, or catch me at Jon, at InspiredLifeMortgage.com.
We want to thank John Spur, the owner of Inspired Life Mortgages, for coming on out to the show today. We'll talk to you on the other side.